Hello, my name is Jennifer Acree. I would like to teach you all about drawing using tonal shading. Now, drawing is the first stage and the most basic of the visual arts. In order to be successful in drawing a still life, which is a composition of 3 or more shapes or objects, you need to understand the elements of art. And there are 7 elements of art: line, shape, value, texture, color, and form. These are all necessary to create a successful drawing composition. In this lesson, I'm going to identify the materials needed for drawing, the type of paper you would need, the type of still life, and different techniques in drawing. First of all, you need certain drawing pencils. Drawing pencils from the hardest, which gives a hard line, 2H or 4H, from the softest, 2B, 4B, or 6B, which is the darkest, softest shade. And you need certain erasers. This is a gum kneaded eraser. These are white erasers. This is a detailed fine pencil eraser. Also, you would need what is called blending stumps or titillions, and this is for detailed small areas for blending. You will need a good pencil sharpener and handouts, good handouts for shading techniques, for example, hatching, cross hatching, blending, and stippling, and also a reference to the different types of pencils, drawing pencils, that is. Now, the first thing you would need is to start out with drawing paper or a sketch book, preferably 9 by 12. This is what I have, and here's an example of my finished drawing composition consisting of a dovetail wood box, an artist's cup, ceramic cup of drawing pencils, a white enamel pitcher, water pitcher, it makes a good still life object, and preferably some flowers. Now I'm going to set this aside. The first thing you want to do is establish your composition. You can use the grid method, which is dividing your paper into thirds or into halves. You want to establish the horizontal line or the base back of the table. You can also have some type of drapery for a base underneath your composition. Now you want to establish the highest point and the widest point. So, for example, which is the triangular method of your composition. So, what I have here, and I'm going to move this closer, and here's my still life. Also, you need some type of light source to give the lights and darks, or to show the lights and darks of your composition, which is value. Value is one of your elements of art, and which I have is a spotlight tilted down, or it could be coming from the right. There are 3 value ranges. I like to work from the white of the paper to the darkest. White, gray, and black for shading. First of all, let's just start with a regular soft 2B pencil, similar to a writing pencil, as I have here, 2B. And so you should draw or plot a dot for the tallest shape. And I like to draw the largest shape first. And you do a light sketch. You do a real light sketch. You can also, for a cylinder like this, you could draw an imaginary or thin dividing line so you could evenly balance the shape of the pitcher, water pitcher. So you'll lightly start sketching in the largest shape first, and then sight angles. And next I am going to start drawing the box, the dovetail box. Let the box come out a little further. So I'm drawing the box as if it's going back into space, or going back into this direction. And I'm doing all this by sight, establishing the spaces in between, the negative spaces. And with a dovetail, you don't want to get into a whole lot of details in the beginning, but I'm just going to draw in some of these grains and dovetail grooves or joints. Then establish the third shape, which is the ceramic cup. So I see that this is a tall cup, and it's going to come about here to this top of the water jug or enamel pitcher. Now I won't see the back of the cup, but I'm going to lightly sketch it in. And draw lightly because you're going to have to make corrections. So I just then start getting into details, which are the pencils, and there's several of them. So I'm looking down and sketching at the same time, just establishing some of these pencils in the directions they are facing. Then also some of these flower designs, the angles of the stems. And in this signature cup, you want to establish the shape into a form. So my lines are going to curve. So this is how you lay out the composition. You want to have some distance of space from your shapes to the edge of the paper. You don't want it all to the edge. Space is one of our elements of art, so it's important you can sight and train your eye to establish the spacing. So now I'm just going to stay with my 2B pencil and start adding the dovetail joints and more details. Start making my lines darker and more definite. Notice the dovetails alternates on each side of the wood box, and on this side you can also draw a line if you want to be more detailed, making your dovetails more precise. Now for shading, you can switch up to the 4B or to the 6B. I'm going to jump to the 6B, which is a really dark shades, and start establishing the darks and lights. So you can use the side of the pencil as such, or you can do what is called hatching. Hatching is just parallel lines coming together. The closer the lines, the darker the shade. And cross hatching when you go over those hatched lines, which will again give a darker tone. I'm going to put some of the grain in the wood. Put my lines and start establishing my lines here, and the darks and the lights. And I see there's some shading in the glaze of the cup. Now at the bottom of the enamel picture onto the wood box, there's what you call a cast shadow, which is really dark where the light is not coming in. So here, and it comes up to the side, cast shadow on the side of the picture in the box. And the darkest darks will be underneath the picture where no light is coming through. And it gives us the object or the enamel picture a sense of weight. And also there's a cast shadow on the other side of this box. And a little bit right in here, and a more definite cast shadow here. So then you start shading even more definitely. Imagine your pencil is going around the contour and the face. Just sharpen that pencil. It's always good to have 2 or 3 pencils going. This is also another type of pencil, charcoal pencil, which gives a really ebony dark, smutty type of tone. And I see there's darkness under the lip, extension of the picture, and I see this comes down. We got some cast shadows from the flowers. And no light is coming through the inside of the handle And I'm going to switch back to my HB, my 4H pencil, which is a harder pencil, and start drawing in some of these pencil shapes. And these are pre-sharpened pencils already with the lead showing. So you really should take your time in drawing details. You can always get darker with these using a 6-4B or 6B pencils. And also you want to start into your details of the flowers, the blooms, and all your curved lines. And I see here it just comes over here to look like little daisies. So you just want to just make at this point, an indication where these flowers should go, and understand the shapes of them. And the final stage, going back to my 6B, is making sure that you have the darkest range. You have white, you can show some of the white of the paper, gray areas, and then the final darks. So I see this box here has some numbers. And so I'm going to put that, which is part of the details. And now I can just start adding, showing the grain, using the side of the pencil. And I see there's a cast shadow under this cup. Don't forget the dark shade underneath the cup. So it gives it weight. And the dovetail joints on this side are dark. Start getting your lines definite. And this is the side of the top of the box. And there's a cast shadow here, the top of the box. More dark down here. Some shadows in here. Mostly dark right in here. So basically the last stage is to show details, making sure everything looks as realistic as you could possibly make it. Now, for shading or blending, you can use your fingers, pinky finger to make it softer, or you can use the Titilian stump or tissue. Now for highlights, this eraser pencil, you can also, for more detailed, precise areas, you can pull up some of those tones. For highlights, you can also define it with a little square, a bullet, round shape. So let me go back to my finished drawing. And finally, I like to use the 2H pencil or 2B pencil to put my signature. And you can put the month, date, and year, or just a year. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.